So good evening and welcome back. You're joining us for event 2 of the Supreme Pool Series, and this is the winner's side round 1 match between a player we're quite familiar with and one we're maybe not quite so familiar with. It's Karl Donoghue against Jake McCartney. Jake's made the very, very long trip here from across the other side of the world. Come over from Australia. Karl Donoghue, a much shorter flight over from Ireland. I'm joined on commentary by Jordan Templeton. How are you, Jordan?
Good evening, Nick. Looking forward to this match, actually. I'm not so familiar with Jake, although obviously he must be a decent player coming all the way from Australia.
Yeah. I think he's... I'm not quite so familiar with him, but I know he's a big name over there, and the Australians will be tuning in with interest to watch this game. Karl Donoghue, he's a bit of a man of the moment at the moment. He's just come off the back of a big money match win against Clint Jansen.
I think also he played Ronan not so long before that.
He did, yeah. Yeah, very close game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this game develops. We've seen some really good matches throughout the day today. There's a lot of games still in action around the arena, and we'll keep you up to date with those scores, but we are streaming 4 games, 4 tables. If you go to the beer production page, you can see any one of those games. I'll keep in touch with who's in action. I know one of them's Carl Sutton against Craig Waddingham, and also Sean Chipperfield and Simon Fitzsimmons is on one of the other stream tables.
Good shot by Karl. Good chance on the yellows here to take the lead.
as you're on YouTube, please do press the subscribe button and join the Beard Productions team, join the army. We'd love to have you on board, and we'll give you all the notifications throughout the weekend of when we go live. Obviously, we've got some fantastic matches coming up over this weekend as this tournament develops. It's been an intriguing day so far.
It looks as if he's got a nice angle to... He can either just dig up and stun this in, or roll through and take the black to the opposite middle. Yeah, he's opting to dig up. Good shot. And well, this black to take the opening frame.
Yeah, that's a nice clearance there from Karl. So it's Karl Donoghue, nicknamed the Jackal. He's 27 years old. He uses a Jason Owen cue with a 8.3 elk tip. Pool achievements, he was world champion under 21 back in 2010. World men's team champions in 2012 and numerous Irish ranking titles, amounting to about 16. World champion quarter-finalist, and he's got some pro titles under his belt as well. Started playing when he was 5 years old. His parents owned a hotel with a pool table in it. His greatest influence or inspiration was Jimmy White for his flair and the fact he's a showman. Actually, absolutely love watching him. Favourite Q Sport pool player was Mark Selby, who just tracks balls up the rails and gets them, whereas pool players wanting to develop stuff all the time. His game was completely different to anyone he'd ever seen before.
Jake McCartney here, first time really at the table. Gets a campaign underway in this last 64 match. And it's dry.
He says his real nickname's Wingnut. And there you see his big ears. So let's have a look at his opponent. Jake McCartney, nicknamed The Head, aged 28 years old. He's used a Q-Craft cue with a blue diamond tip. Started playing pool when he was 12 years old. His parents used to run the local pool league. By the time he was 15, he had the keys to the pool room, and he used to wag off school and spend his time in there. He fell in love with the game and has been ever since. His mum is his greatest inspiration. And she always said to him that your attitude off the table will get you further than what it will on the table. And he's always stuck with that piece of advice. Favourite pool Q player? Favourite Q Sport player, sorry, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's a freak. We've heard that one a few times before, haven't we? During the Calcutta. Freak of a player. Anyway, that's our two players. You see Karl Donoghue at the table.
Oh, Karl's on the reds here. Nice. May have been a bit unfortunate here.
Yes. Just ran out of position. I'm not sure he can...
He can possibly dig up a little and play the red off the yellow,
Yeah.
which will take him up towards the two reds to the left of your screen. There's a possible plant.
That's what he's looking at.
with the speed of the table, you'd expect him to get this. Yep.
He played that well, really controlled it well. Very nice shot. And there we see Jake in the background. Is it me, or is there a bit of Tom Cousins about him? It's a little bit like Tom. No, it's probably just me.
He'll have a good chance if he can play like him.
28 years old, mind. He's had a hard paper round, hasn't he?
Oh, I'm only here to commentate on the pool, Nick.
Very wise. Very wise.
Following the strict guidelines put up on the Players Pool website. And Karl started off well here. He's taking this one to the middle. He needs to concentrate on this. Yeah, he's played that well. He needs to be careful here with this plant. The cue ball could get away from him due to that yellow, so I'm not sure will he drag it dead weight or play with a bit of pace and come up the table a little. Oh no, he's played that well. Just has to mind his work here. Off one cushion for the black in the bottom left.
Yeah, it's okay. Really like to be another 4 or 5 inches just to make this a gimme, but absolutely expect him to get this one.
He's underhit it slightly though.
Yeah. Yeah, another 9 inches of pace, and it would have been a sitter. But someone of Karl's ability, he's not missing that one, and he goes straight out into a 2-0 lead.
Cued that very nicely.
Yannick Beaufils is on the hill against Andy Barber. He's 10-7. Greg Batten locked up with Adam Davis at 7 frames each. The tower, Lee Clough, is 7-3 down. Beg your pardon, just looking across, Adam Davis is actually 8-7 up. The score's not quite updated yet. Karl Sutton's on the hill versus Craig Waddingham, 10-8. Toby Bonk doing a job on Gareth Higgins, he's 9-3 up. John Rowe, 6-2 up against Ben Mackey. Rob Chilton, game against Karl Howe has just started, he's 1-0 up. Jordan Church in action against Jamie Murray, that should be a good game. Jamie Murray, a very fast attacking player, and Jordan Church, he's not a shrinking violet. Simon Fitzsimmons, the bouncer, 1-0 against Sean Chipperfield, early days. Ben Davis came through a really tough game earlier against Ben Forty. He was some way behind and came through a hill game. He's now back in action against the Frenchman Victorine Lebar. Gareth Hibbett 1-0 up against Dom Cooney. Phil Harrison back in action after, well, he blew away Matt Brearley earlier on. I think he beat him 11-1, 11-2, so he's 1-0 up against Richard King.
I think Phil might have the bit between his teeth this week, considering he's just lost in the World Final versus Mick Hill.
Yeah, I thought the odds, he was 12-1 before. I thought they were fairly big odds, really, for Phil. Coming off the back of that final, where, to be fair, he had his chances. Could have taken the title. Darren McVicker, after winning his first round game 11-1, and he was absolutely buzzing around the table, and he came off the table and said to me, if I carry on playing like that all weekend, I've got a chance. Just got to get that consistency. He's back in action now against Dean Richardson. Dean put Seb into the loser's side earlier on, and Darren's 1-0 up. If you want to keep up to date with all those scores, you can go to qscore.com, just search for the Players Pool event or the Supreme Pool Series, and this is the Strachan Cup. Anyway, we got our first real good look at Jake. Eric Waddingham's pulled a frame back. It's now 10-9 to Karl Sutton. There's definitely a shock in some people's eyes there. It's Craig Brown, 8-3 up against the tower, Lee Clough. Lee's such a steady player. Oh, just happens when you play it with pace into the middles on these tables.
I just think Karl's play has forced that error, believe it or not. He's won the opening 2 frames with conviction, and it's very tough to, if you've not got a frame on the board, it's very tough to cue with freedom. And I think that manifested itself in that shot there with Jake.
That's a really good point. Yep.
I'm not sure how many. Sorry, Nick. I'm not sure how many viewers we'll have tonight, considering the semi-finals of Wimbledon is still going on with Djokovic and Nadal. This must be the latest semi-final ever at Wimbledon.
What did the other game finish at? The last time I saw it, it was like 21 all or something.
Yeah, I spoke to Ronan earlier. He come back to the table and told me it was 23 all. Anderson won, I think.
Did he?
But I'm not sure of the score.
Isner seems to manage to get himself into those sort of games, doesn't he? It's quite incredible. I think, doesn't he have the previous record? I think it was 70-68 in the decider. I think that was the previous record, and I got a feeling that was Isner again.
Yeah, it was Isner and Nicholas Mahou. Well, Karl looks as if he's in the zone here.
Yeah, so it was a 50-game 5th set. So he won 26-24.
Wow.
I mean, that's just amazing. The stamina you have to play 50. I mean,
I think a lot comes down to the serve with the 2 guys, especially. I think one's 6'11" or 6'10", and the other's 6'8". It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard them previewing the game, and I think Vassos Alexander was saying that he was actually commentating on that game, and he was asked, "What do you think the longest rally would be?" And he said, "Probably 1 shot." But I mean, that's even a marathon for a commentator. I know I do some marathon stints, but that's absolutely incredible. Djokovic, Nadal is currently 1 all, so we'll just keep half an eye on that one as well.
Here at Beer Productions, we don't only cover just the pool, we also cover all aspects of the sport. And just as I said, that Karl's underhit this slightly. Again, he's underhit it, but he'll be relying on his good potting to pull him out this one. He needs to cue this nicely. Oh, and he has. That's a great shot. Although at the angle in the cue ball, the white's travelling away from his final yellow. I think he maybe have to drop this dead weight. Failing that, he can stun on and off the top cushion. He's played it well. So this then, stun the weight into the centre of the table. It's looking like 3 now. So this black and Karl Donoghue will take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, there we are, and Jake, not too much in the way of chances so far. Obviously, had that little pop out with the red, but it's all Karl at second. Yannick Bofi's still on the hill against Andy Barber.
Adam Davis and Greg Batten match 8-7 currently to Adam. It looked like a great match when I was watching earlier. Both players not giving an inch.
I have to assume that Mick Hill came through unscathed after. Well, he was behind for big chunks of that match. He won 11-8 in the end, but Ryan Clark must have given him a bit of a scare. Of course, Mick Hill was a slow starter against Mike King. He was 5-2 down, and he was down quite considerably against Ryan Clark early doors as well.
I think Mick's name will pull him out of a few fires.
Yeah. Jason Shaw, who was 4-0 down and then 6-4 down against Daniel Bishop, won 7 on the bounce to win 11-6. Karl Sutton beat Craig Waddingham. So that loser's side is starting to stack up with some real heavyweights. Karl Sutton advances through on the winner's side. Rob Chilton currently 3-0 up against Carl Howe.
And that's a good break from Jake. I'd imagine he'd be taking the reds here.
Yeah.
And I think it really needs to get this frame. 3-1 is not so bad for losing the opening 3 frames, but 4-0 is a massive deficit. Yeah, a good shot. Cued it positively.
Yeah. He's okay. You can cue the back of the ball as well, so yellow doesn't hamper him. And now he just needs to find his rhythm.
I think the red on the right hand side of the table will be left as the last ball to come on and off the side cushion for the black.
Be interesting to ask Jake how he finds these tables, because I think I don't know what they play with in Australia, but I think the tables are very, very different than these Supreme winners.
Yeah, I actually think it's a snooker style pocket they use.
Yeah.
So I think that would be preferred actually, because you rarely ever see a ball bouncing out a snooker pocket.
He used the whole of the bag on that one. So again, he's not ideal on this, but he just needs to cue it well. Looks like he's going to be playing a long black. He had a bit of angle.
Yeah, good shot.
Yeah, that's a very good shot.
And this takes all the pressure off it.
Yeah, just had a touch more angle there than I thought you had. It was a really good shot to get on the black. And there we go. We see the best of Jake McCartney gets himself on the board.
It's a sigh of relief there as Jake sat down. I see him drinking his water, and there's a little bit of crowd gathering at the arena table. He'll be happy to get himself underway here.
So Jake had a tough opening game against Ryan Fleming. No mean feat, but he won that one convincingly, 11 frames to 5. Very different prospect in Karl Donoghue. So, as I mentioned, the losers side becoming littered with big names. Tom Cousins now across there, joining Sheppy and Craig Marsh and Neil Raybone and Neil Wren and Sean Story. Yeah, goodness me, Jez Graham's over there. Mark Farnsworth, of course, it just becomes tougher and tougher. It's never going to be easy working your way through the losers side, but there's some big names in there. Losers side back in action at 9 AM tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just a bit straighter on this yellow than he would have liked. I think the black poses a little problem as well. I don't think it passes this red to the bottom right. So Nick, who's your favourite to take the second event here?
There's too many big ones still. I mean, Mick is obviously always hard to look past, but in this field, I don't think he'll be getting his own way all the way through. You know, I did have a small bet on Phil Harrison at 12s before it started. I do fancy Phil to go very deep in this tournament, but you've still got Jason Shaw and that performance that Chris Melling put on earlier on the stream table, and now he's got a forfeit against Darren Appleton. He's through into the winners round 2.
What happened there?
Yeah, well, Darren, there's due to sort of family circumstances, he's had to pull out, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, we wish him well, and we look forward to seeing him in the next event.
I must say, I fancy Liam Dunster to go deep in the tournament. His current form is second to none in the field.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
He also had to look past Scott Gillespie. I know he lost his first match versus Chris Melling, but
he's going to have a hard route back.
Yeah, his mentality is strongly in his favour. So it's hard to look past Scott. But Liam, currently, he's obviously just won the IPA Champions Cup there on Free Sports, and he's a force to be reckoned with. As I said, that Karl's it looks as if he's just ran through slightly, maybe 2 to 3 inches more than he would have liked. I think his plan is to take the black into the left-hand centre pocket, as we look at it on your screen.
So Scott Gillespie's got Matt Schofield in the losers round tomorrow morning. So that'll be his first step back.
It's a strong losers section. It's full of winners.
Yeah, I was just talking about it. It's incredible.
That's
one of the first games up tomorrow morning. Mark Farnsworth against Max Nosko.
Wow.
I mean, Max is he's drawn Liam Dunster and then straight into the losers side against Farnsworth.
Yep.
That's a tough school.
And speaking of a tough school, that's black for Karl.
Yeah.
What do you fancy on it? Thin cut?
I don't think he's got any choice. The red's in the way of the double.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, what a shot.
Wow.
What a shot.
Brilliant.
Oh. He's very composed, Karl, but
yeah.
I'm sure he's a sigh of relief inside.
Yeah, he was loving that one.
Of course, in black ball, if a ball goes in after the black, it doesn't matter as long as it's not the white. But World Joes, balls flying about the table, it gets the heart rate going.
Yeah. Darren McVicker, he's played 15 frames of pool and he's dropped 1. He's 3-0 up against Dean Richardson. He's flying. And talking about people that are flying, Phil Harrison is he's played 16 frames of pool and dropped 2. He's currently 3-0 up against Richard King. I mentioned him earlier, and having a bit of a point to prove this weekend, having lost that final, and his first round match, beating Matt Brearley 11-2. Don't think anyone really saw that scoreline coming.
The short result of this round for me is Lee Clough trailing Craig Brown by 9 frames to 3.
I know, that's
I'm not familiar with Craig, but anyone leading Lee Clough 9 frames to 3 is a bit of a shock. Normally he's always very, very close.
Yeah. So Yannick's been on the hill for a while against Andy Barber. I think it was 10-7, it's now 10-9. Greg Batten, he's won the next 2 frames in that match, and he's currently ahead of Adam Davis 9-8. Two really gritty players that will just fight till the end. Cy Fitzsimmons 4-1 up against Sean Chipperfield. Chippy's just saying to me he was just struggling a little bit. He's got a brand new tip, which he's just struggling with a touch, but he's also got some new contact lenses in which aren't settling. He's really struggling with them. He said just continue playing through blurry eyes, just constantly focusing, trying to get his contacts to settle.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? I mean, if the game's not hard enough as it is, and your contacts are playing up.
I mean, well, Karl's took reds, and he's trying to press home his advantage here, while Jake seems to be struggling a little. And saying that, Karl's kept him off the table for the most part.
So Toby Bolt beat Gareth Higgins 11-5. Carl Sutton went through, so that's Craig Waddingham in the loser's side.
Loser stays hotting up. Oh, great plan from Karl there. I think he has the angle on this red just to move the yellow away from the red that's slightly tied up.
Yeah, he can play this safe in the knowledge that he's going to be on the other red into opposite corner. He's going to have to cue this nicely. Well,
I think he'll take.
Yeah, he'll take both of these at the bottom money.
The only thing you don't want is to land straight on the top red.
Yeah,
That's what you're trying to avoid here. I think looking at it, the black is tight against the side cushion, which will help it on its path into the pocket, should they get there.
so he's left a nice angle here.
It's looking like 5-1.
Using 2 cushions. Looks okay. It's probably a little bit straighter than he'd want. He's going to have to force this now. But it's far enough off the rail to make it an easy enough pot.
Oh, he's played that well.
Yeah, got a bit of distance, but
Be looking to drag this in now.
yeah.
Although, should he miss it, I think he'll be leaving Jake a chance at the yellow right beside the black. That's his really only problem ball.
No.
He has missed it. Now I think he can pot the one at the very bottom of the table as we look at it, and screw directly back in behind the one on the cushion,
Yeah.
the other one next to the cushion. I think it'd be risky to take that ball now, so he could get on it better here.
Do you think he might try and nudge it out? No, he's not. Well,
Did he try?
Yeah, I think he did try. I mean, I think that was probably the shot, just to try and get right behind it and just nudge it a little bit further into open play, because he was guaranteed to be on one of these two yellows in the centre.
I think he can stun into the gap here, and the yellow goes to the middle as well. Oh, he's developed
Let's
it.
have another go. Yeah, that's
Good shot.
That's great.
That'll be a confidence booster, that one.
Yeah, this should be a formality now.
And if it does go 4-2, you'd have to say Karl will be disappointed in missing that black. It wasn't easy, but the way he started this match, you wouldn't put it past him knocking that one in.
And Yannick Beaufils has won that match. He won that one 11 frames to 9 against Andy Barber, so he progresses through on the winner's side. Greg Batten against Adam Davis, 9 frames apiece. Greg is at the table on a clearance to go on the hill.
And Jake McCartney reduces his arrears to only 2 frames, which I'm sure he'll be relieved about.
So John Rose through against Ben Mackey.
Am I right in saying that John Rowe was something like 10-3 down in the previous round, or 10-4 down to...
He was 10-4 down, yeah.
Was it Andrew Hughes? And I think that cost the bookie a pretty penny. I think a lot of people had backed John Rowe.
Yeah, it was Drew Hughes, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. The other one was Ben Davis against Ben 40. I think that cost the bookie a few quid. Because Ben Davis was something like 10-6 down and 1-5 on the bounce.
Was he?
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Craig Marsh, and he was saying his words quote was Ben is hopeless at the rules.
Yeah.
A player of Ben's class, I don't think it matters what rules you play. I think he'll get there no matter what. But it just goes to show his resolve as the current world champion to come back with that deficit.
The reason he said that is because I think they played a couple of sets last week practicing the rules, and I think they practice a lot together, a lot. And when you talk to Ben, he tends to get the upper hand of the two. Like in general, there's obviously not much between them. Probably if you talk to Craig, he probably says the reverse. But I think Craig was saying they played a couple sets, and the first one he won something like 15-3, and the second one was like 25-7 or something.
Yeah.
And he does genuinely struggle with the rules, but with this shark racket, it's a bit of a leveler anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good bit of equipment.
We don't see any. I've not had to commentate on a single fudge fest. There was one frame that went slightly tactical in the second match today, and that's it all day.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody covering backs.
It's good for a viewer's point of view as well.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to see is 30, 40 minute frames.
Yeah. In fact, it was the first match. It was Whelan against Farnsworth. They went tactical in one frame. I think there's two players that is just so you just don't ever anticipate it. If you'd have asked Jed for odds on them covering a bag, he'd have offered you some long odds. Well, there's something big going down in the background because there's a lot of cheering going on. So either someone's taking the bookie for a ride, or I'm not quite sure what's going on.
I think it's possibly the Adam Davis-Greg Batten game.
Yeah, you'd have to think so, wouldn't you? I mean,
going by the scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only one that's really close enough to get excited about at the moment.
Currently, on our screens, it's 10-90 Adam Davis. Although going by the screams, I think that maybe have changed.
No, it's still going on. Greg is 10-9 ahead. But Adam is at the table, so I don't know what happened there.
Meanwhile, Karl, he's making short work of this frame, and he's looking to regain his 3-frame lead.
Mind you, that cheering may have absolutely nothing to do with Paul, because last year I was trying to get out the club at the end of the play on the Saturday night, and there was a massive group of players who were playing like toss the penny nearest the wall, and there was like Lakin was involved, and I mean Seb was involved there, and there was like 20 people crowded around where they were throwing the penny to see how close they could get it to the wall, and it was absolute carnage.
Does that prove the theory that pool players would bet on anything?
Yeah.
Karl's played a great shot.
It really was a great shot.
He's looked faultless. Yeah.
Super. Yeah, I just remember that I don't know, the marker was very close to the wall, and Lakin was on a slow roll. He had the coin in his hand, he just wouldn't let it go, and somehow he's literally got it to lean up against the wall so no one can beat him. I mean, all I was trying to do was get out of the club and get back to the hotel, and you couldn't barge your way through them. It was manic. That was the biggest cheers of the weekend.
The old pitch and toss.
So the cheers could be about anything, especially with the tennis going on, because there's some big tennis fans in here now. I know Mick Hill's a massive tennis fan. Lakin and Seb, both big fans of the game. There's definitely something going on.
Just see the referee setting the balls up here with the shark rack. And from personal experience, I think it's really good. It keeps the balls really tight together, promotes a good split. Obviously, the luck of the break still remains. It boils down to luck.
Yeah.
But you seem to get a lot luckier with the shark rack.
Yeah, I think what it's doing, and I've mentioned it a few times, you seem to get a more consistent spread. More balls at the top of the table than you would normally. Quite often on most breaks, you won't see too many balls on the side rail. You'll probably see 5 or 6 balls above the centre line, 6 or 7 balls below the centre line. Phil Harrison touched on it in the last event, and he was saying that it makes the patterns a bit easier, because you can choose the pattern and then just work down the table. So it's been a bit of a leveller. If anyone's interested, you can actually purchase a shark rack. I know Lee Kendall's selling them through the series. Sorry, I wasn't aware. As we were chatting away merrily, I think Karl Donoghue's actually gone for a fag break, so we'll just step away from commentary, and all the cheering's going on because of the tennis. I know there's some big Nadal fans in there, and no doubt there's probably a lot of money riding on it as well. So we'll step away from the action for a few minutes, and we'll be back to you as soon as Karl's back in the arena. So here we are back with the action. Jake McCartney to get frame number 8 underway. He's gone dry. He lost that white ball as well. Talking about losing the white ball in the deciding frame between Greg Batten and Adam Davis. Greg Batten teed off and screwed straight in off. And Adam Davis is at the table with a fairly elementary clearance without some kind of ridiculous kick. Then he looks for the world that he's going to win that one. Just looking at a post that Mark Farnsworth put up earlier on. It's very unlike Mark. He's said hugely disappointed with the performance this morning. Never felt so uncomfortable in a match. Struggled with the cue ball earlier on, then lost all confidence. Sometimes you just have Mark Farnsworth down as an absolute machine. You just don't think of him as a confidence player. I know he was struggling this morning. He never really settled in the game, but see, you don't. Some of these players, as I've said many times, Mark Farnsworth is just clinical around the table, and you just didn't really see that from him this morning. And yeah, you forget some people are human sometimes because they just act like machines around the table.
I think a morning session is difficult for anyone, no matter how good they are. For some reason, the morning session is always tough to get going, and I don't think the top players are alien to that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in fact, I pretty much said the same thing this morning when Mike King was, his opening game against Mick Hill. I said, if you're ever going to have a chance against Mick, it's going to be first thing in the morning. Mick's going to come into the tournament. He's not a practicer, so he'll come in cold. And sure enough, Mike stretched out to a 5-2 lead, but as soon as Mick found his gears, then he was away. Mike probably gave him a few too many chances, but even so, that's when the players are most vulnerable.
His luck.
Yeah.
Oh, good shot.
Yeah, very nice.
He's opened up the black,
yeah,
and he's got the positional shade of the shot right.
And even now he's got options on either one of these two reds. He's going to play corner first. I don't know. He certainly didn't want that nudge.
I think he can top through for the black in the right hand middle. Although he's queuing up as if he's going to stun off the side cushion and take the black in the bottom left. I'd fancy rolling this one down, just missing the yellow on the side cushion with the white and taking the black in the opposite middle. We'll see how Karl's feeling.
Oh, wow.
He's given himself a chance.
Yeah, it's a nice pot. And the way he's playing, you fancy him for this black. Yeah. Very nice. 4-frame lead now, 6 frames to 2. It's going to be a long road back for Jake McCartney.
Clinical pull from Karl.
Yeah. So Greg Batten. That mistake in the deciding frame, going in off on the break, has cost him the match. Adam Davis progresses through on the winner's side. Greg Batten drops into the loser's side. And there's another roadblock there for somebody in the loser's side in Greg. He'll be looking for revenge tomorrow morning. There's a slow game going on there. Jamie Graham against Tony Halpin. That one seems to be going on for quite a while, and it's only 3-1 to Tony. Darren McVicker 5-2 up against Dean Richardson. Craig Brown is now on the hill against Lee Clough. Rob Chilton 5-0 against Karl Howe. Jordan Church, having trailed in that match, is now 5-2 up against Jamie Murray. Cy Fitzsimmons is still leading Sean Chipperfield, although Sean has pulled back the lead to just 2 frames now. It's 5 frames to 3. Rob Warren against Stephen Dempsey. Stephen Dempsey is 3-0. That's going to be an intriguing match to see how that unfolds. And Ben Davis is 3-2 up against Victor Labar. So there's some great matches going on. Gareth Hibbert playing Don Coomey. He's 5-1 up. And Phil Harrison 5-2 up against Richard King.
Mark Boyle versus Clint Jansen. A rematch of their money game.
Yeah. And there's 2 players there who really struggled in event 1. In fact, I think I'm right in saying that well, in fact, I'm 99% certain that Clint lost 2 out of 2 and Mark Ball lost 2 out of 2. So they've already outdone themselves from there.
I think that just encapsulates the strength of the field. If
Doesn't
Mark
it ever?
Boyle and Clint Jansen can lose respectively their first 2 games, it just goes to show how difficult it is down here to get a run of form going. I think Mark's problem in the first event was definitely the rules. A lot of times he broke, and the ball sat favourably, and he forgot to nominate, which that grows monotony over the course of a few frames if you're losing against a good player.
Yeah. So it looks like Clough, the Blackpool Tower, is now in the losing side. As his game's disappeared off the screen. So that one's ended.
The Blackpool Tower.
The Blackpool Tower, yeah. Yeah, that's his nickname. Well, he's about 6'5" and he comes from Blackpool, so you know, it's just. Rob Chilton, he's just reeled back the years in these first couple of events. In the first event, he just knocked out big name after big name. Had a really, really tough ride and a great showing from him. And he's fairly breezing through his first 2 rounds. He's currently 6-0 up against Karl Howe.
I think Jake's just lost position here.
Yeah, he's got a really nasty thin cut into middle. He's losing the white ball. Because the white's going to be flying. I don't think he's got any other attacking options.
Yeah, let's go for your shot, Nick.
He could just control it. That's
Good shot.
yeah, that's a really good shot. He could just control it. In fact, he's probably just been a tad unfortunate. I think he's just played. Oh no, he can maybe get through to it. He should be okay regardless. If that red goes, if he can't get to it now, he should be able to land on it, and should be fairly straightforward to get himself on the black.
I think he'd like to screw off this yellow and land on the one over the pocket up the top left.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, just need to be careful there. You could just see that canning a couple of balls and landing in the middle bag, but he's okay.
That's a bit of fortune he maybe needed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, definitely at 6-2 down.
You feel if you can take these.
Oh.
Slow down.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. He's not knuckled himself, has he?
Yeah.
Surely not.
Judging by his reaction,
I mean,
that's exactly what's happened.
He had half the table to play into. He had no need to hit it with that. I mean, the thing is, he's not actually hit it that hard. He's just timed it really well. And this cloth's so grippy. I don't think he ever expected to come back that far. But you know, he had half a table to play into.
If anything, if I'm being critical, I think he got down in the shot rather quickly. I think he maybe an extra few deep breaths.
So he's going to have to dink it round the knuckle. In all honesty, there's a lot of traffic on the table. If he can get the pot, he's going to be pretty unlucky not to be on the black. Yeah, he really needs his frame. I mean, you fancy at 6-3 with the break in the next. He's still very much in this, but if he can't make this and he goes 7-2 behind, it's curtains, you feel.
The last thing he wants to do is give 2 shots away here.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
That's a lot. Oh, do you know what? I said he's going to be unlucky not to be on the black. And
well, I think he's actually got a shot at this. If he hits roughly just below the centre left-hand pocket, he maybe have a chance at the black. And looking at that angle, I think he has a chance. Although if he doesn't get it, I think the path of the cue ball's nudging Karl's bad yellow out here. So that's just the pool gods for you.
Yeah.
You're landing that red perfectly, tapping.
Yeah.
It always seems to be if you don't take your chance when you get it, something always happens.
Even just, half an inch less of roll, then he's guaranteed the frame. That's a good effort, but not good enough, and he's given Karl a free chance at this.
He's presented Karl with a great opportunity here. 7-2, you'd have to say it's
the writing's on the wall.
Yep. Donoghue's looked formidable here. He really looks as if he's got the bit between his teeth. He's walking around the table with purpose, and he's cueing the ball nicely.
I mean, you've got to give it to Jake McCartney. I mean, hats off to him. He's travelled halfway across the world. 20 odd hours worth of flying to come over and play in one of the toughest events that the world's ever seen. He's certainly travelled the farthest.
I haven't spoken to Jake, but it's testament to his dedication if he's flown all the way from Australia to play pro. It's good to see, actually. It's refreshing. Just goes to show how popular the game is.
This is a formality for 7-2, barring some kind of miracle. Pop out or massive kick. He's left a nice angle. Just to make this simple. There we are. Jake had his chances in that frame. A great chance as well. It's Karl that pounces upon that mistake and it's 7-2.
Looking around the arena, Rob Chilton's extended his lead over Karl Howe, 7 frames to 0. Jordan Church, 7-2 against Jamie Morey. Simon Fitzsimmons is 6-4 in the lead against Sean Chipperfield. Stephen Dempsey, surprisingly, to me looking at that, is taking a 4-0 advantage over Rob Warren. Ben Davies trailing Victor in Labar by 4-3. Gareth Hibbett leading Dom Cooney 6 frames to 1. Richard King trailing Phil Harrison by 6 frames to 2. Jamie Graham and Tony Haplin, it's 4-1 to Tony Haplin. Here on the stream table, Karl's extended his lead to 7-2. And Darren McVicker, the man you've tipped to be the champion, he's been pegged back a little. It's 5-3 now. Dean Richardson, Darren McVicker, 5-3 to Darren. Ian Alley is 7-3 in the lead against Adam Mallow. Dylan Leary is 5-0 in front of Jake Dylan-Yulov. Carol Morris is 1-0 down to Jimmy Croxton. And Mark Boyle and Clint Jansen, I think, is yet to start. It's at 0-0. Big break from Jake there. He's got a red ball, which means he can nominate reds. However, if it was to go yellows, if he was to nominate yellows, he would have to pot one. I think if he could pot the yellow beside the black, the one that looks close to the black, I think he'd go yellows, but let's see what he does.
That's what he's going for.
Big shot, 7-2 down.
Yeah. Needs this one. Yeah, it's a great pot.
Yeah,
and that's worked out pretty well.
He's got his just rewards there, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not an easy shot to take on.
So, realising it's late into the evening now, on Friday, for anyone coming in from a night out, you're watching the Supreme Pool Series, Event 2, the Strachan Cup. We're deep into day one. On the winner's side, all the scores you can follow via qscore.com. There's still plenty of action. I think there's 4 live games, probably maybe 3 now actually. Probably down to 3 games. On the conclusion of these games, the action is back on at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think we actually start streaming from about 10:30. My name's Nick Finn and I'm with Jordan Templeton on commentary. In this, well, I guess it's a fairly one-sided game. But Jake's not been without his chances. But equally, Karl's pounced when he's had to. Not made too many mistakes, been fairly clinical. I thought I was doing the right thing. That's a nice confident shot, but he's left it tricky. It was a nice pot.
It's always the thing when you're struggling to get back in a match. It always seems that the extra roll just goes against you.
So he's looking at playing this down the rail. Oh no, he's not. Yeah, I mean, he can only make contact with the right-hand side of the cue ball. So unless it's he's playing over the red, so he may as well use that He knows he's going to contact the little red and yellow. He's just trying to work out how it will go. And what he'd dearly love is just to be able to play back through the gap. He doesn't really want to disturb it because it does go into this pocket, but I think it's probably unavoidable. Yeah, he's played it okay. I suppose it could have come out a bit better, but he can cut this back.
I think looking at the angle he has, I think the path of the cue ball is going towards Karl's red on the left-hand cushion.
Yeah.
And then where the white ball goes from there is anyone's guess.
Yeah.
It may pass the red on the right-hand side of the table, the black. It may pass into the bottom right-hand corner, but I think you're really relying on luck here with the cue ball. Just get the pot and then see where the white goes.
Yeah, cue ball's going to be travelling at pace.
Bit of a hit and hope. Oh, he's managed to avoid that red.
Oh, do you know what?
This looks brilliant.
Actually controlled that really, really well.
Again.
Just ended up a little bit no man's land. I mean, you still fancy him to get this, but bit betwixt and between. If it pulls up a few inches short or runs through a few inches more, it's an absolute drop in. But
nothing is ever easy when you're trailing.
No. You fancy him for this, sir? Yeah, that's great.
Well done. White ball's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Fine. That's a good frame. Now, back to 4 behind. It's Karl's break, and all he can do now is hope for mistakes from Karl. That's what he's going to be relying on if he wants to get himself back into this game. Jordan Church, he'll be really happy with the way he's playing against Jamie Murray. He's 9-2 up. He struggled so much in his first round game. He was saying, I was chatting to him afterwards, and he said he literally fell over the line. Jamie Murray was a fairly late, well, I say fairly late entrance. He didn't play event 1. I think he won a bonus ball. Yeah, the mark ball, Clint Hansen's still showing 0-0, but they tend to put it on Q score when they call the players to the table, and then the players might take 10 minutes to get to the table. So it looks like it's a long opening frame, but they might not actually be underway yet. Jordan.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Nick, but that's looking as if it's going to be a long one, Mark Boyle, Clint, if it's not started.
Yeah.
Same with Carol Morris and Jimmy Croxton. It's 1-0 to Jimmy. That's got potential to go along.
And table 13, I believe, is one of the stream tables. So that Mark Ball, Clint Hansen game, you'll be able to keep tabs on that on one of the stream tables. Just go to the Bit Productions channel on YouTube. You must have found it because you're already watching it. While you're there, do please subscribe to the channel. Karl Morris against Jimmy Croxton. Yeah, that one's just getting underway. Karl would have had a long day by the time he's finished. Dylan Leary is playing Jake Dylan Newlove, and that'll be a surprise scoreline for some people. Jake's hot off the back of a Hearts Tour final. He's trading 5-1 to Dylan Leary. The Irishman means business. Ian Alley 10-3 up against Adam Marlowe. Dan McVicker 7-4 against Dean Richardson. Tony Halpin 5-1 against Jamie Graham. And Phil Harrison is in control against Richard King 6-2. Talking about in control, Gareth Hibbert is making his mark on this tournament already. 8-1 up against Dom Cooney. Dom's no pushover. Gareth, I mean, he's an absolute machine. I love watching Gareth play. Such a great attacking, aggressive player. Love his style of play. When you see him, you know, he obviously he looks a bit older. He's got the grey hair and everything, and you expect him to sort of get to the table and fudge a few shots, but he's just brutal. I don't think he's got a safety shot in his armour. Smashes the balls around the table, develops everything in his way. Love watching him play. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see him lift the crown in one of these events.
That's the thing with this event. There's the series of events. There's so many proven winners in the field that it's really it's so tough to pick a winner.
I still have been unable because I just can't get my head around it. And maybe someone who's a bit of a stato might be able to, or might even already know how many world titles are in this field, because I can't even begin to count them. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Even if you just talk about, at a senior level without going to junior level, there's still an absolute mountain of them. Cousins, Hill, Harrison, Rowe, Dunster, Hibbert, Marsh, Ben Davis. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
And that is perfect for Karl. You can come across the face of this red in the centre of the table and take the black in the bottom right hand pocket. Just like that. And he will extend his lead to 8 frames to 3. And we've just gone 25 past 11 at night. And we're still in the thick of the action here down in Newcastle under Lyme, the Players Club. Karl Donoghue took a stranglehold of this match over the Australian Jake McCartney. And just looking at the body language, Karl looks as if he's in no mood to let any silly frames go here.
Oh wow, there's a game lined up for tomorrow. Shane Sexton just mentioned on here. I haven't looked at the potential clashes, but if Harrison wins, he plays Chris Melling tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So look at the run through that Chris Melling would have had. Obviously, I mean, would have played Darren now, and then quite possibly playing for Harrison tomorrow. But I mean, Chris was on commentary earlier, and he said he wants to play the best players, because to win this you have to beat them at some point, and he'd rather knock them out early. Doesn't fear a single man on the planet.
Well, he's had to beat arguably the toughest man today in Scott Gillespie, because he is the reigning champion from event 1.
Yeah. Never seemed to settle in that match.
I think it's one of the ones. The first round is always slightly edgy for both players. I think if the two players had met, maybe in the last 16 quarter final, I think it would have been a closer match.
Yeah, I agree.
But Chris is different class. I've watched him. I've seen his videos, and I'm pretty sure if there's pool fans watching here, they're pretty aware of who Chris Melling is. His cue action is silky smooth, and it's actually hard to believe it. It doesn't matter if it's a pressure shot or it's just mucking around on the table. He cues the ball with such conviction.
Every time.
Every time. You can start to get a bit jealous if you watch him for a length of time.
Just seem to drift away, maybe through the finger marks that you see along that line. It looked for a second that it was heading towards the pocket, but maybe just my eyes.
Sorry, Nick. The referee's called an open table here. That was a risky shot for Karl to take on.
It really was.
I don't think it's in his mind just now, but the last thing you'd want is to offer an easy opportunity for Jake to maybe gain some confidence. But saying that, 8-3 down, nothing's easy. He'll be looking to take these out. He's looking to leave the angle on the the yellow in the middle pocket to come down for the two yellows stuck together. He can either play a cannon onto the red just adjacent to the yellows, or he can play into the gap behind it. Looks a bit pacey. Not the best. That's careless, you'd have to say, from there. There's no traffic. Maybe just the pace of the table come out.
Yeah.
These are horrible shots. You need to judge the pace of these exactly right, or the finish is gone basically.
One of our in-house statos, the Shell Dog, he tells me 19 world titles. Can you list them, Andy? I think John Rowe had one, didn't he, as well? Another one there.
Oh, Gareth Potts was on commentary earlier. Does he count? Has been in the room.
He's away in China at the moment. He's back in here, is he? Is he really?
Yeah, he was commentating on his
right. I didn't.
table 11 earlier.
He must have literally just landed. I saw his missus in here earlier. I didn't realise he was actually here. It's literally must have hit the ground because he was in China just a couple of days ago and playing over there, wasn't he?
Strange
I was watching him.
It's strange he's not playing in these events. I think he said he has commitments, but he's commentated nearly.
Yeah, well, I think he knew he was going to miss this one because, I mean, I think the only reason he's back is he must have just prematurely got knocked out of the tournament, I think. So if he'd have gone deep, he would have missed this one. And I think actually he's got commitments in China for 3 of these events, so it meant he wouldn't have been able to qualify for the final either.
Maybe just as well. I wouldn't fancy meeting Gareth in any of the rounds, to be honest.
I would love to see him in it.
Hard,
maybe next year.
And just as we're talking there, Nick, Jake went for a double. Just as I said, he'd left the hanging ball over the pocket to land on his final 2 yellows, but it's always tough when you're playing off a hanging ball to get position on the next shot. He's offered a chance for Karl here, and going by the way Karl's playing, you wouldn't put him past him making this 9-3.
Mr. Sheldon forgot John Rowe, so he's now advanced it to 20. Do we have any advances on 20?
Solid pull from Karl. Not taking any chances. He's wanting to compound this lead to 9-3. 9-3 and 8-4's still a gap, but 9-3 you'd think no chance for Jake. Only 2 frames away from defeat, but 8-4, things can happen. So Karl's trying to eliminate that. He's played the snooker here.
Wow. Jake just looking at a little DF behind the red here, just to waste the first visit, which is always one of the keys. If you're going to give away 2 shots on a DF, make sure you waste the first one.
Clever shot, that.
Yeah.
As a black ball player, I was wondering what he was doing there.
It just wrestles away the advantage that Karl may have had. He's making sure he has to waste his first shot.
Does he play the same shot here, Nick?
I think so, yeah. He's just said that his ball's not touching.
Does Jake play the same shot?
Yeah.
Just in behind this Karl's red?
Yeah. I mean, he does have another option. He could push the red down over the yellow.
Yep.
He may choose to do that, but
I don't think he is.
no, he's not. Maybe just
fouled.
Yeah, he wanted to leave that. He wanted to leave that touching, but
This is where the world drills. There's a bit of.
yeah, it's contentious. It's contentious for sure. That this is one of the first. People talk about the rule sets, and we've witnessed, I don't know how many frames today on this table, probably 100. This is one of the first times we've seen a DF played all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not a big feature of the game.
With the field being so diverse between black ball players, world rule players, it's definitely a massive advantage for the world rule players.
Yeah.
When it comes to situations like this, they know exactly what to do and why they're doing it to gain an advantage.
Yeah.
Speaking from own personal experience as a black ball player, I find it very tough in situations like this to pick the correct shot.
See, the shot for me now is to knock this red down the cushion, put it on top of the yellow.
So knock Karl's red down over Jake's yellow, so that gives some advantage to Jake.
Yep. Because then Karl has to get it out.
Yep.
And with the ball tied up near the black.
Yeah, he's elected to play that shot, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, he would have dearly liked that to have been a bit closer to the yellow. He had to be careful, obviously, he couldn't get too close because he can't risk potting it, but I think...
it offers Karl the opportunity now to just bring it back out. I think he'd love to bring it out and develop the red beside the black in the same shot.
Yeah.
And I think he could do that if he hits the... he's not playing it. If he hit the right-hand side of the red as we looked at down next to the yellow, he could have brought the white off two cushions. But he's played a great shot there to keep his two visits.
Yeah.
That's possibly...
I mean, the reason I thought Jake could play that shot is because of this red that's tied up next to the black. If all the balls were in the open, then it would have just been a simple case of knocking it back out of the open and clearing up. But because that other ball's tied up, you get that you kind of think to yourself, well, he's either got to move it or he's going to use his two shots to shift that one next to the black, and he's still got this problem ball. So he's still carrying two shots, but he'd
love to pot these two.
Yeah.
The one up the top and the one beside the black.
Yeah.
And then
but it's a big ask. He played a nice shot there to just nudge the black across and give himself a chance. That really is lovely cueing.
Yeah.
Played that very well, and Jake just crossing his legs. I think he's resigned to losing this frame.
Possibly just run into the yellow here and then play the double with the red across the table.
Yeah. And that for me was the importance of trying to get that yellow, the red tighter onto the yellow. Because it's much harder to get out. Yeah, played that well.
It's just a case of now, will he hold for the black in the right-hand centre, or will he come across the table? I think he'll come on and off the cushion here and then play for the black in the right-hand middle. Sometimes you like to cue these with a bit of conviction just to... touch the left-hand side. So, barring a kick or any other sort of paranormal activity, we've got a 9-3 advantage here for Karl.
So Mark and Clint have got underway, and Clint's won the first frame. Karl Morris is underway against Jimmy Croxton. Jimmy's 3-1 up. Jake Dillon-Newlove's won a couple, but he's still trailing 6-3. Ian Alley's on the hill versus Adam Marlowe, 10-6 down. McVicker is now 7 frames all after streaking away into a lead. Dean Richardson's won the last 3 in that one. Tony Halpin 5-3 up against Jamie Graham. Phil Harrison 9-2 against Richard King. Gareth Hibbert 9-4 against Dom Coomey. Ben Davis leading Victor in Labar 6-5. Stevie Dempsey 6-2 up against Rob Warren. Sean Chipperfield beating Simon Fitzsimmons 9-6. And Rob Chilton is 9-0 up against Karl Howe. Finding life quite easy at the moment.
Karl to break here.
Yeah, breaking to get himself on the hill. Someone just yelling as they came out of the toilet, just put him off, so he stepped up on his shot. Back down on it now. Timed that really well. Crunched it.
He's made a yellow from the break here. No reds down.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what he does here. 2 reds covering the pocket up the top right hand side.
Yeah, I think
Nice. Nominated yellows.
he has nominated yellows.
Oh well, I see now.
Yeah,
why.
he's going to play this long. Clear the pocket.
Yeah.
Of course. Good vision to see that straight away.
Oh,
Great shot. Doesn't want that to roll back over. Oh, he's been a bit unlucky there, hasn't he?
Yep. Definitely
Wow.
unfortunate.
That looked perfect.
I think Karl's just in the mindset that I'm going to go for everything here.
Yeah.
9-3 up.
Yeah,
Let's just go over the line.
Yeah.
If he can roll this yellow in, this is a big shout, right enough. But if he can roll this yellow in, he can leave the angle on the yellow to the centre to cannon into the black, which he's looking at now to cannon them out.
Yeah.
But that is a big shout because you're only leaving that last yellow as your last chance to pot it. So if it goes safe, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. All the eggs in one basket, as they say, but he can afford to do that at 9-3. Take a liberty or two.
And if you're practicing in the club, this lands perfect. But when you're under a bit of pressure at the Players Series, these can easily land on the cushion. Oh,
No good.
good. Fair play to Karl for playing that shot. It's good to see. It's good to see attack and pull in this rule set. He's been a bit unfortunate there, but
so Andrew has indeed listed those world champions for us. There's 14 different world champions in the field. In EPF, it's Mick Hill, 5 titles. Sean Chipperfield, Tom Cousins has got 2. John Rowe, Adam Davis, Phil Harrison, Chris Melling, 2 titles, and Karl Morris. PPPO, Ben Davis. IPA, Jack Whelan, Gareth Hibbert, Craig Marsh, and Ben Davis. WPA, Liam Dunster and Jason Shaw. That would be the Jason Shaw one, was the one he won back in 2010.
yep, you're right.
It was over in France, wasn't it? He beat, I can even tell you the finalists that he beat. I've played against the guy.
He's about 6'10",
He is.
French.
Yeah.
I'll give you his initials. SR.
Oh, I'm going to kick myself. Part of the French...
Sebastien Ramier.
Sebastien Ramier. Seb Ramier.
Big Seb.
Yep. Yep. love watching that when Jason was smashing the ball the length of the table and the crowd were cheering every time he knocked it. There's a YouTube video.
I think that was one of his last
Brilliant.
matches at Blackball before he went to play 9-ball. I was there in France to watch that
Were you?
match. I was the under-18 Scotland team, and Jason was dishing everything.
It was 2010, was it?
Yep, 2010. That was a joy to behold that match.
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh,
dear.
Jake.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you can just see by his reaction that it sums up his evening's play. Just so careless. Sometimes it looks that easy that you can just take it for granted, but this game will always come back to bite you if you don't give it the proper respect. And I think Jake just got down and hit that as if there's no way I can fail here, and now he needs to weigh up a safety. He's trying to come up the table and get a snooker behind the black, is he? He is. That's a cue ball. And as John Virgo would say, all things considered, it's not too bad. Although, saying that, Karl here, 9-3 up.
It's a free shot, isn't it?
Flamboyant pull.
Yeah.
Where's the white though?
It's a free shot. Oh my goodness.
Oh no way.
Nice.
Oh.
At least put your hand up, Karl, for goodness sake.
Oh,
And you wouldn't put it past him putting this.
Yep.
Again, it's a free shot, isn't it?
Dead weight.
Where the red is.
Dead weight. Oh.
Wee. Well,
It shows you how good he's cueing though there. Like he's hit that with some pace, and the black's right over the pocket, so he's been very, very accurate with his cueing.
yeah.
Jake's having a laugh and a smile here. So is Karl.
Yeah, what do you want me to do with that?
They're having a bit of a chat here. It's good to see that.
It is,
He's
yeah.
came all the way from Australia. He's 9-3 down in the second round here. It's just gone on midnight, and he's quite happy. Good to see that from Jake. Although he's running out of time here.
I think he called his extension just in
I'm
time.
thinking is there a DF you could play here? No? Behind the black? Probably not.
Oh. No, this.
I don't think it mattered what you did there.
No.
So this black for Karl, and he'll take a 10-3 lead, and he is on the hill.
Talking of players on the hill, Phil Harrison's on the hill against Richard King. Ian Ali's on the hill against Adam Marlowe. 2-1 to Mark Ball now. Stevie Dempsey 7-2 against Rob Warren. Karl Howe's got himself on the board 9-1. Rob Chilton leads that one. Ian Richardson and Dan McVicker locked together again at 8 frames each.
The crowd seems to have dissipated
Yes, yeah,
over the course of this match.
yeah.
I think time's dragging on. I think both players are consigned to the result of this match. I don't think Karl switched off, but I think they both know the result of this match and are looking to just get to their bed and rejuvenate for tomorrow and go again.
Yeah. When are you back in action? Must be early tomorrow.
Yeah, I play tomorrow at the 10:30 session.
Yeah. Do you know who you've got?
I seen it earlier. I can't remember the guy's name, but there's no easy draws in this event, that's for sure.
No.
Played Ronan McCarthy earlier, and
You got Phil Malam.
I played Ronan earlier, and it's hard enough to play Ronan no matter what rules you're playing, but I think Ronan has got a bit of experience at these rules in particular, and
Yeah.
I just gave him too many chances, and a player of that ability, there's only one result there. Yeah, we've got Jake at the table here playing reds. He'll just be looking to regain a bit of pride here, I think, Nick. I'm pretty sure he's got maybe a few avid fans over in Australia. It's probably about 10, 11 in the morning there. They'll be tuning in, so I'm pretty sure they'll be rooting on their man.
Yeah.
Quite rightly so. He's played a good shot there. Just used Karl's yellow to guide that red in, and in doing so, he's gave himself a nice position on this red. He's got all his reds in the centre of the table. They all pot. It's just placing that white where he wants it. I think that shot tells us that yeah, you can see it definitely passes. So he'll be playing the white off the bulk cushion and possibly the right hand side cushion. He'll be taking the yellow, the red in the centre of the table to the bottom left hand pocket. Played that nicely. And looking at the angle, I think he can just drag the white through the gap between the yellow and red, or alternatively he could stun between the two yellows to the right hand side of the table.
Oh wow.
I think that's just down to the scoreline, to be honest.
I think you're right.
I think in his mind, if I get this, it's probably 10-4, but the chances of me winning are slim to none. So you'd have to say that Karl now has control of this frame, and barring the two kind of difficult yellows, you'd have to.
That's a nice shot, just glancing below on the red and yellow, just red and black, just loads of black into play.
You're a World Rules man, Nick. What's your play here?
What, from Karl's perspective? Oh,
Yep.
well, there you go.
Bring that yellow out.
I think he had to play that, to be honest. It's I mean, the clearance is too tough to try and go.
It's hard to think of a shot here from Jake's point of view. But I'm looking at this thinking, right, is there a DF I could play? Is there something I can make it awkward for Karl? Possibly put another yellow safe of Karl's. But
no, I don't.
It just seems as if it's like a means to an end.
Yeah, it's going to be futile.
It's going to be going round in circles. Oh, you can see that red. Wow. Just as well it didn't go in, looking at that. Although that miss has presented the opportunity for Karl to take this match. One good shot in the right hand centre pocket, you'd feel. That's there. That was the key shot, you'd feel. Stun this in for the yellow in the bottom cushion. And this clearance would take Karl into the last 32 of the winner's side.
Damn, McVicker's now trailing against Dean Richardson. Making hard work of that one. And that's a variance you can get with his style of play.
One good shot from Karl here, and he's over the line.
Cued that really nicely.
Stayed down on the shot, made sure of it.
Yeah, it's been a really nice performance. It's a few too many mistakes from Jake McCartney. Nice to see him. Nice to see him in the series. My first look at him. But I'm sure he's played better. I'm sure he's had better performances. But he'll go in the loser's side. He's got another life, and it's Karl that progresses through on the winner's side. So that's the conclusion of the games on the main arena tables. There are some other stream games happening at the moment, and then we'll be back in action, I think, from about 10:30 tomorrow morning. Jordan, it's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you there. You're an absolute natural.
Thanks, Nick. I've watched Beale Productions and a multitude of games over the last maybe year or so, and listening to yourself in commentary, you're always the consummate professional, and it's been a pleasure to sit beside you and commentate on this match, and judging by Karl's play, I think he's got a great chance in this tournament if he keeps that up. Yeah,
kind words indeed, and Karl will always have a great chance. Again, thanks very much for your input. Really good there. From Beer Productions, we're going to sign off from the main arena table. There's a interview going on from Karl Donoghue, who's going to go in with Lee Kendall. So that's going to be on your screens in just a few minutes. But from the rest of us, it's going to be good night, and we will see you again tomorrow morning.
Well, Karl, a new opponent in the series, a guy from Australia, Jake. How did you find the match with him?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tricky match. Like when I was in Melbourne about a donkey's years ago anyway, we were playing Jake over there, and he's one of the top dogs over there, so it was never going to be an easy battle. I got off to a good start. He had, I think, 2 dry breaks at the start. I didn't really miss. I took all my chances, and very happy with my performance.
Yeah, you look really focused in the match, from what I could see. I didn't watch much of the match, but just your body language around the table.
Yeah.
You looked.
I tried to just bring my money match play into these events now. It's very hard. I don't know, it's something about it, but I'm just trying harder and harder every time just to maintain your focus and concentration. So far, so good, anyways.
Is that because of the distance of the matches, because they're longer than normal?
I think it is as well, yeah, and all the hype is just for that one match, Whereas a competition, you have one match, you have next match, you have another match. You're not really focused for that main match.
Yeah.
Stamina-wise, yeah, it's good. It's very good in money matches. So I just want to bring that forward in tournament play and my play as well. It's been lacking in these main events, so hopefully.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing now, you'll have a break. I think you play till tomorrow afternoon, whereas you're playing match after match in most tournaments. You get, as long as you keep winning, you get good breaks.
Yeah, which is also good as well, No, I look forward to the next round. Hard luck to Jake there. He played very well. Well, he didn't actually play very well. He missed a few chances in that.
But that's down to how well you put him under pressure.
Exactly, yeah.
And I've asked this question to everybody else, and everybody doesn't know. Have you looked at the draw? Do you know you've got next?
No, don't clue.
Same answer.
Just
shouldn't
one more
ask
match.
the question,
Just a match at a time. Money match. Next match is money match.
Okay, well, best of luck in the next round.
Thanks very much,
and we'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers. Thanks.
That's all for tonight. We won't be streaming anymore. We'll be back at 10:45 with the losers round 1.